Be focusing on sciatica pain, and if you don't know what that is, that's the pinched nerve in your hip, low back area. It's usually a muscle, it's usually the psoas muscle that gets pinched between your piriformis and another muscle. Can't remember that one, I'm sorry. But it's usually a pinch pain in your low back. So that I had a request today to talk about that today. And the best way to go about that, if you have a towel, great. But if you don't have a towel, and if you have a belt at home or some kind of band, that is really one of the best home tools you can just have if you don't have quote unquote exercise equipment. So you can always use a belt. So go ahead, grab that, or a yoga strap or a TheraBand, something like that. If not, try your towel. We'll make do with what we have and see how that can go. But usually a long strap of some kind, a belt is always the best thing, is really helpful for sciatic pain. So we're going to try and play with that. Gluteus minimus. I think you're right. I think it is the gluteus minimus. Sorry. On Facebook, someone's asking if that's the other muscle. And I think it is. It's a gluteus, either maximum or minimum, medius. Usually medius, actually, not minimus. Minimus, I don't know. Don't take my word for it. I gotta look back at an anatomy chart. But it's a pinch nerve between the glute and the hip muscles of like the piriformis or psoas muscle being pinched. Okay, so I'm gonna put this down. Grab a belt, and we're gonna focus on that today. And again, if you don't have that, using a towel to roll up and use as something to hold onto your leg is another great alternative. So we will play, and if not, let me know what you're using at home. You know, where you get creative at home, and let's see what we have. No, the glute minimus is not the small one. That's pretty funny. That's fun. Okay, cool. Okay, so I have a yoga strap, and I'm gonna use this today, and we will get going. All right. So we are going to first start sitting and just kind of feel how that feels on your hips. If you're in pain, just let me know quickly now if that is something. And first, just feel how you are sitting on your cheekbones. You can either be cross-legged or legs straight out. And see if one sits bone feels a little heavier than the other. Just kind of take a shift. And then close your eyes. And start your breathing here. Breathing in through the nose. Exhale, drawing your navel towards your spine. Softening your breastbone. And lengthening through the crown of the head. Inhale in. Just start scanning your body for the asymmetries of your body. So just kind of notice if one side of your cheekbone feels heavier than the other, and if not, well, fabulous. There's no problem there. If you're feeling pretty even, that's a good thing. It means that you're working your body fairly evenly in general. But a lot of us are asymmetrical, and today I feel my left side a little heavier than the right. So we're going to start then with your feet crossed or in a butterfly. And again, if this is too much for you, you can always grab a pillow and sit on that. So your hips up are a little higher, and that way it helps relieve some of the hip pain there. And you're going to rotate away from the side that hurts. So for me, it's my left, or not hurts, but the side that feels heavy. So my left side feels heavier, so I'm going to rotate to my right, okay? And I'm going to shift my weight to my right hip, so my knee is up, this knee is down. This I received, I kind of got from, I think it was Kathy Corey on Pilates Anytime. It was a really great exercise that just really helped my low back. So here you are, my hips are lifted, and I'm going to then reach the hip that's lifted, this sits bone, down towards the mat. I'm going to inhale as I pull my navel towards my spine, and I'm going to stretch out the left side of my body. Inhale, and I'm trying to reach my sits bone down towards the ground. And then exhale, rock my weight back to that knee. Okay, my hip is still up. Your exhale, pull your belly towards your spine and reach your left sits bone, my left sits bone, could be your right, down towards the mat. So you're getting a stretch on the medial back line of your spine. And one more. Inhale, reach. Lengthening that side. And up. And come back to center. You go away from the side that we first started, and you come back here. So you're here. You rotate towards your knee. My opposite cheekbone is up. And then I'm going to inhale. Reach that sits bone down towards the low back. Inhale. And this, what I'm trying to do is really wake up the muscles along the spine. So it gets a stretch. So I'm already stretching my spine right away. I'm breathing into my ribs, opening up the back space, lengthening the spine, bringing some control to the front. And I'm also trying to create space for that low back to hang away from, just further down into the ground. Inhale and up. One more time. Inhale around. And exhale up. And then come back to center. There. We're going to go one more time to the side that we first started on, because that's the tighter side for me. And you're going to try to stretch it out one more time. Inhale, reaching the sits bone down. Exhale up. My hands are on my weight is on my hands and my knees. So I can have the support, so I can help push myself back by zipping up that pubic bone to navel and reaching my tailbone down and my sits bone down to the ground. Exhale up. One more time, rounding. And I'm pulling up a little bit my belly to give a little extra curve to my round low back. And up and center. From there, just take a deep breath in. Just notice if that changed for you. And finding your breathing in your upper ribs, upper back, mid-back, all that. Inhale, pulling your navel towards your spine. Blowing out. Pulling the belly deeper into the low back. One more breath here, just feeling how your spine's stacked. Hopefully sits bones feel a little heavier on both sides. And exhale, breathing out. You're gonna round forward. Go as far as you possibly can. Just go straight forward. Rounding your forehead towards your heels, your toes. And stretching again that low back. So it kind of is taking part of the ideas of that I worked on yesterday of really stretching that low back, because when the low back is pinched, oh man, so much just hurts, right? So it's just constantly finding space in the body. Every breath should help you find space in the spine, in your hips, anywhere that feels tight and restricted. Thinking of how the breath can move to the tight spaces to open and bring oxygen, new blood to help release those areas. And go ahead, roll up. So something interesting is that I actually started the Pilates work because of my hip pain. And I had sciatica as a 16-year-old, and doctors were really confused, and it was because of just uneven balances, imbalances in my body while I was growing up and dancing, so there was that. So now from here, as you just saw, you're going to cross this leg here. For me, my sciatica was on the right side, so go with the side that you have sciatica on and see how this feels on you. Sometimes this doesn't always feel so good. So just playing with your range of motion, your area. So for me now, because I really have worked on it and have managed my pain quite a bit, I can go in pretty far, but maybe you can't right now. So maybe you have to just start here. Maybe that's even too much. Maybe you just start with your feet right there. Whatever it is, you really want to cross this leg into your medial line. So you're hugging those inner thighs together to help create space on that side body in particular. So I'm going to go fairly in close because that's what feels good for me. And I'm going to hug this knee in up tall. And sometimes this is just excruciating here. So just kind of go what feels normal. We have to bring it away, bring it away. And even if you're here, you're going to just exhale, tuck your tailbone, zipping up that pubic bone to navel. So you're rounding your pelvis, kind of relieving some of that. Sometimes it gets in the front of the hip and come up nice and tall. So if something's bothering you now, just let me know. And just keep going with this pelvic tilts here, rocking back, squeezing those inner thighs so you get that low belly working and up nice and tall. Exhale, scooping. And lengthen up. Keep doing 2 more of those. I'm going to quickly try and read some comments over here. All right, good. Exhale, strong. Just saw something, and we're all good. And up. Last one here. Exhale, tuck. And up. Okay, so from there, you're going to stretch out that leg. You're going to walk down your leg. Again, trying to open up the space that's pinched, because it's usually right in here that the psoas muscles being pinched by the piriformis and all that. So you're overcrossing, so you get a little stretch in the IT band, which is also a contributor to some of that pain tightness. Actually, I find a lot of time it's a lot of outer leg work. This quad and IT band is too strong and tight. That contributes to a lot of sciatic pain. So the more you can open up that side body, the better it's gonna be. So you're gonna inhale, stretch forward, and exhale, walk yourself up. And just kind of following this pattern. Inhale, down, as far as you can go, and walking up. And sometimes you're just right here. That's enough, and sometimes that's enough. So just be mindful that my range of motion is going to be different than your range of motion, and just always trying to discover what's best for your body. And up and down. Now, after you're doing that, you're going to bring your legs slightly wide, about hip width wide. And I want you to hold on to your shins. That feels okay. Hold on to here. Again, going for your range of motion. I can go down to my toes. That feels best for me right now. And from here, I'm in this nice forward bend. Even if you're here, keep a really long straight back. So you're reaching the crown of the head away from your tailbone on this long diagonal. I'm lifting and pulling my abdomen up away from my thighs here, so I'm actively working here. I'm then going to find a shift in just my sits bones. I'm going to try to reach my sits bones away from me, so they're gliding past my glute, past the edge of the mat. Inhale, so I get a deeper stretch in my hamstring, low glute area, which is really going to open up that gluteus, tightness there. And then exhale, tuck back around your spine, finding that pelvic floor to lift up and round. Inhale, extend my spine. And exhale, tuck my tailbone and round. And if you're here, do it here. Inhale, extend. Lifting the head, neck, and chest up. I'm still holding my ribs in case, pulling my belly actively away. Exhale, tuck and scoop. Finding those sits bones gathering to find my low pelvic floor. Lifting up and in. And inhale, arch. Finding a nice long straight spine again. And exhale, tuck. I like to grab my feet. Again, you can always grab a towel so you can pull on it. Or that strap. Here's a good time for the strap. Like this. So if you can't grab it, you're actively pulling, reaching out through the heels, and tucking your tailbone and rounding your spine. Or a belt. A belt is really the best. Inhale, arch. And then exhale, tuck. So you really get a lot of motion in that deep, low abdominals and sit up nice and tall. From here, you're going to bring yourself fairly close. You're going to go for that roll down, sitting up nice and tall, and roll down one vertebrae at a time. Down. Let me make sure I'm on the screen. Tucking your tailbone, roll down one vertebrae at a time onto your mat. Excellent. Here. You're going to bring this right knee in towards your chest. My foot is still on my strap or your belt or on your towel if you can bring that under your foot. So from there, extend that leg straight up. Again, we're always trying to find space in that area. You're going to first do pointing and flexing. My strap, granted if you have a thin belt like me, like the strap here. You're going to put it on the ball of your foot. You're going to press into the reach. Hold on, I'm sorry, my words. Reach the heel up towards the ceiling past your toes. So your toes are pulling back towards your face with a soft ankle, and you're really finding length through the back of the heel into the sits bone. As you're here, you're reaching your sits bone and tailbone down towards the mat, so you feel this opposition of the tailbone, sits bone, hooking into the mat here and reaching the heel away from that. So you're finding nice long length there. And then you're going to exhale, bend your knees slightly. So you're hardly moving. You're still feeling your sits bone hooked into the mat. And then you're going to inhale, stretch that leg straight up. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lengthen. Finding activation in the back of your hamstring. Bend. Inhale, lengthen. Reach the sits bone down towards the floor, away from the heel. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lengthen. Pull your belly down away from the heel. One more time. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen. From there, you rotate your leg out. Finding external rotation from the hips. Sometimes that is really excruciating to go out. So then, play with the other extreme of rotating all the way in. Internal rotation, and that will give a different stretch in your glute. So whatever feels better in terms of a stretch, whether it's external or internal, for me it's external right now. I'm going to exhale, rotate out. Find my inner thigh, find my inner heel, and inhale, rotate to parallel. Otherwise, you can go vice versa. Exhale, rotate in, finding that release in the hip. Inhale, rotate to parallel. Or you can go back and forth. Rotate out, rotate center, rotate in, rotate center. That rotation's coming from the hip socket purely, and the heel is moving in relation to my sits bone hip. Inhale, inhale center, inhale center, inhale center. Bend that knee in. Let that go for a little bit. Just let the knee bounce in and out of your hip there. Still have awareness of how your tailbone, sacrum is connected to that mat, and inhale, lengthen up. From here, if it feels okay on your low back, you can extend this bottom leg all the way. Otherwise, just bring the foot slightly further away and cross both legs into your midline. So both inner thighs should be feeling like they're engaging towards your midline. So you're going to inhale, cross your leg over your body. Keep your right hip down on the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Feel how that really opens up the side body here. And make sure this hip does not hike up. This hip needs to be constantly drawing away from your shoulder, away from your waistline. Long right side body. Exhale, bring the leg back to center from the work of your abdominals. Inhale, side. Exhale, coming from the ab. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. One more. Try not to move the left leg. Stabilize those hips. Good. Now bring that leg all the way over as far as you can. Try to keep that right hip still connected to the mat. Bend your knee in towards your chest. You're still sliding your right hip away from you, so it's not hiking up. It wants to do that, but let it be long away. You can always grab your hand and push your own hip away. That will help give an extra stretch. There. Now from here, my knee is bent and I'm still pushing into my band or my towel, whatever you have. And you're going to inhale, squeeze your inner thighs together to extend that leg out on that diagonal. Inhale, so my inner thighs are really squeezing. I should feel my back of my leg working, squeezing into my left side. And then exhale, bend. Whew. Try that again. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, bend. One more. Inhale, lengthen. Go as far as you can. And exhale, bend. And inhale, lengthen, bring that leg up. Now, it's also weak abdominals can also contribute to sciatic pain because you're working and relying on other muscles. Usually the hip flexor is too tight on us, and that's where we cramp a lot, so we can't find length in the low back. So we're gonna work on that by doing leg lowers here. So you're gonna really slice this leg down the center of your body. Inhale, lower the leg right off your knee. Exhale, feeling how the belly engages first to float the leg up. Should be nothing in the hip. Inhale, down. Exhale, inhale, down. Keep the leg up. Getting a little hamstring stretch. Inhale, down. No movement in the pelvis. Pelvis should not be rocking like this and this. No. None of that. Inhale, down. The leg just swings. Inhale, down. One more. There we go. Now you're going to do something called leg circles. You're doing exactly what it sounds like. So you're drawing a circle with your leg in the air. And you're going to do inward circles and then outward circles. Always cross your midline first. So you're going to cross your midline. Inhale, down. Exhale, up. Without moving that left leg. And you're using the abdominals to control the leg up. And I'm pushing my foot into my band so I feel this connection of my leg into my span. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure there's nothing in the hip flexor. If you still feel hip flexor stuff, just go straight down the center and up until you feel that abdomen working. And then you go outward circles. Inhale. And I open my leg as wide as the bed, wide as my mat. 3, 4, squeeze those inner thighs, and 5. Good. Now I'm going to lower my leg down nice and slow from the control of my abdomen. Inhale, keep reaching and pushing your foot into the band so you feel lengthening through the front of the hip. Hover, keep reaching, push your foot into the band. It will definitely tighten up on your hands, no worries, that's it. Now here, hovering off the mat, I'm just 1 inch off, my low abdomen should be working really hard. Keep the imprint in your low back. Let me scoot back a little bit. Right there. You're gonna just let your leg float slowly to the ground so you really feel a stretch in the front of the hips. Keep pulling your navel up towards your spine, lifting out of your hips, and then bend that knee in. Let that leg go out and in, out and in. Good. You're going to bend your knee, pop it out. I've done this before, but it's also a really good way to release things. Get rid of tension. Really let the leg reverberate on the ground as it bounces. So that way you truly know you are not holding anything. And if you are, see if you can let go of it. So it's a good way for you to be aware of your body. And then out. Then you're going to bend your knee out to the side. Exhale, close the knee. Inhale, elongate, rotate. Exhale, bend and close. Coming from the abdomen. Inhale, lengthen, rotate out. Bend and close. One more out. Lengthen, bend and close. Reverse. Open, elongate, rotate in. Exhale, close. Out, lengthen, rotate in. Exhale, close. Out, elongate, rotate in, exhale, coming from the abdomen, one more, in and close, good, a lot at the end, just open up both hips for a second. Another thing contributing to sciatic pain is actually weak glutes, so that's something else. Get out of the tension of your IT band, open up space in the low back, awaken those low glutes, and then do the inner thigh. Time is moving quick, so I'm going to do the left side really fast, and then I'm going to give you a quick few of glute work exercises. Oh my goodness, my wording today. Exercises there. So we're on this side. You're going to inhale, point, exhale, flex. Just find the back of the leg. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex, reaching the heel up towards the ceiling, away from your sits bone. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. And one more. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Good. From there, you're going to cross your midline, over across the body. Inhale. Just get a Quick little stretch there, and exhale, bring it up. From there, playing with the rotation of the leg. Rotate out, center, rotate in, center, rotate out on an exhale, center, and in, and center, blow out. Inhale, inhale, center, 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 one more, center, center. Good, bring this foot further away, cross that midline, keep that hip down away from your waistline. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, bring the leg up to center. So you get the IT band stretching now, inhale. Watch that you don't do anything weird with your shoulders or your neck. Exhale, center, coming from the abdomen. Inhale, stretch, get the IT band stretching. Exhale, center, one more time. Inhale. Keep your bottom right foot, planted on the ground. From here, you keep the leg over cross, keep sliding the hip away from your waistline, and then bend your knee. And then inhale, lengthen. I forgot to do that center, so let's go back to center for a second. So after you do the rotations, then bend the knee. Bend, inhale, lengthen. Barely bending the knee. Bend, inhale, lengthen. Bend, inhale, lengthen. Feeling how that sits bone draws down towards the mat, reaching through the heel. One more time, bend, inhale, lengthen. Now bring it across your body. Do the same thing. Bend, inhale, lengthen. Bend, inhale, lengthen. And bend, inhale, lengthen. Granted, this should be the good side, so hopefully it doesn't feel, or actually it might feel tighter actually, because this is the side that you usually depend on to hold yourself up, and that's very common. So if this side feels tighter, don't be surprised, that's actually very common. So bend, and I'm really keeping this knee bent here, and I'm going to talk about this one because this one's a little harder. As I reach my heel out, I'm also thinking of bringing my hip down. So I'm thinking my hip down, so I'm not lifting up, right? Both hips are connected to the mat. My left hip is connected, and I'm going to keep reaching my left hip into the mat as I extend my heel away from my sits bone, and I'm really squeezing my inner thighs there. Exhale, bend. Inhale, squeeze your legs together so feel like you're really squeezing your inner thighs, your pelvic floor muscles, and bend. One more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, center. Now you do your leg lowers. I'm pressing into the metatarsal, into the ball of my foot, to have connection to my strap. And I slice my leg down. Exhale up from the belly. Keep grounded in your right foot. The leg should just float. Because of the abdominal engagement, you're getting a little stretch in the hamstring and the low back. One more. Cross your midline for leg circles. You cross, open, exhale. Inhale, you always exhale right before the leg comes up. And it's really about hip stabilization and low back stabilization. Reverse the circle. 2, 3, 4. Find those deep intrinsic muscles of the abdomen. Now I'm back to center. I lower my leg down. Easy. I'm reaching. I'm pushing my leg into my strap or towel all the way down, or belt, until it just hovers. I keep zipping up my pubic bone to navel. I'm really imprinting my low back down, and I'm reaching my leg into my belt, extending the front of my hip all the way to the floor, and I bend it in. Very good. If you're here, you're going to bring your leg out and in, reverberate. 2, 3, 4, 5. You stay there, you bend, rotate the leg out, bend the knee. Exhale, close the knee up. Inhale, out, open. Exhale. Inhale. Really wrap the low abdominals down, and then you reverse. You open, you elongate, exhale. Pulling that knee back in towards your chest. Keep the shoulders soft. Softening the breastbone as you breathe out so you feel long curves of your spine. Last time. There. You hug your knees and your chest from here. You really hold on tight. Take a deep breath in. You exhale, curl up your head, neck, and shoulders. Take another breath. Keep reaching your tailbone, sits bone down towards the mat. You're giving yourself a little resistance here. And then roll back down. Roll onto your side body. Does not matter which one. But go to your side body. Make a little, may feel like you're at a 90-degree angle here from your knees to your hips. And there, the glute exercise I'm going to give you is clamshell, which I've given you before. So you're just going to rotate the leg up. Make sure it doesn't come from this upper glute, that it really comes from the low glute. Sometimes you have to tuck in your knees in more so you get it more underneath that underwear line here. So then you rotate the leg up. Inhale, exhale, close. And it should really feel like it's wrapping underneath here. That's where you want to find that motion. Keep the heels together and just lift the knee up and back down. Keep going. Inhale, lift. Exhale, close. Inhale and close. So you get that low glute work, so you're really feeling it under or right where your underwear line is, right at the bikini line, creating a nice, beautiful, smiley butt. That's what I would say. The smiles of the butt muscle there. To get those nice and active. 10. Well, try to do 10 of these. I think you have like 3 more. 2. And 1. Then just really quickly extend that leg straight out. Really flex that foot and bring it hip width high. Make sure the hips don't do what I just did, but have a little space here between your waistline and there. Keep your hips in line. Hold on, almost done, Lucia. My little girl is crying now. So you're going to reach out that heel, extend the leg gently back. So again, you get that low glute muscle extending. Feel a stretch in the front of your hip here. Pull your abdomen up and in. You're going to point your toes, feeling a stretch from the front of your hip towards your toes, front of the hip. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Keep reaching your leg past your hip. And one more, point and flex and release. Bring it down and in. Very good. Come up. We quickly go to the other side before we end here. Knees tucked in, fairly tight. Long tailbone, hips, lift the waistline up. You do some clamshell, inhale up. Exhale, close. Inhale up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Extend that back leg all the way out. Again, keeping those hips stacked, shoulders stacked. You can push down on your hand a little bit, find a little space there. You're going to lift your foot up, hip width. You're going to bring it slightly behind you, still pushing your hips forward. So you feel this nice elongation, and then point, exhale, flex, lifting up out of your hip, reaching your heel away. Feel that inner thigh, feel the back of the leg. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. Pull your belly in deeper. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And relax. Very good. Roll to your abdominals. Push yourself up into a child's pose. Always great. And if this does not feel good, again, you can roll up your mat. Sit on your mat so that you have something to sit on to help you go forward. That will help you create that nice long low back line. But ideally, if you can round it towards your heels, excellent. But if you can't, first try to find this nice straight back here by bringing your hips over your knees and just let yourself go forward there. Then work yourself back more as you keep playing with that and get that stretch in your low back. So you're here and you're rounding. You take a deep breath in and you exhale, round up 1 vertebrae at a time and come to your hands and knees and just end with a little cat-cow again. Inhale, round. exhale, extend. Pulling my navel up away from the mat so I'm not sinking into that low back where it hurts. I'm pressing my shins. And inhale, pulling my navel up away from the mat. And exhale, extending, lifting my chest bone and belly button up. One more, inhale up. And exhale, extend. And then come back. And that is it for today. So I hope this is really helpful for you. And if you have any questions, always feel free to ask me. And have a great day. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care, everybody.